Okay, let's talk about the High Imperial period in Rome. We are dealing with two works, which are the Forum of Trajan and all of the buildings that involves, as well as the Pantheon. Notice I said Pantheon, P-A-N, not Parthenon. The Parthenon is Greek. The Pantheon is Roman. So that's going to be very important that you do not mix those two up. So we have the empire has reached incredible distances, and it's at the height of its power. I did not type this. I would not type that mistake, right? So we have the Pax Romana, which was basically initiated by Augustus, understood to be a time of great prosperity and peace in the Roman Empire. So Trajan, who's the guy we're going to talk about first, kind of becomes the guy to measure up to in terms of a successful emperor. He and Augustus. We're going to look specifically at the column of Trajan, which is part of the Forum of Trajan, and the column of Trajan details Trajan's victory over the Dacians. I believe they were located in Hungary, or what's now Hungary. And on this column, which shows the image, the story kind of spiral upwards as the column ascends, you see more than 150 specific episodes of the campaign, the successful campaign against the Dacians. And our focus in the column tends to always be on the emperor. I gotta pause. Sorry, I had to pause for a moment. The idea here with respect to the column of Trajan is that it's all about glorifying the emperor, and also very useful to look at with respect to understanding military techniques and equipment, et cetera, et cetera. So again, the column Trajan is part of the Forum of Trajan. So when we say forum, you may have heard of the Roman Forum before, but there are many fora, which is the plural of forum. So we see the Forum of Trajan here. I see, I've got the Forum of, Forum Borita. I don't know what that one is, actually. Let's see here. Where's the Forum of Caesar? It's around here someplace. My eyes aren't working very well. But my point here is that the whole layout of this kind of central important portion of Rome is full of these large public structures and public monuments. Hey, look, the Colosseum's over there, right? So when we think about Rome, especially Imperial Rome, we should be thinking about huge building campaigns for public structures. Very important. So there are a couple of links to videos. I'm going to put the links to all the videos up on this assignment on Google Classroom, but you need to watch the videos that are attached to this. Don't just watch my video. I'm going to go over mine pretty briefly. If you would like to, you could also read the Khan Academy article about Trajan's Forum. That might be helpful to you, because it is kind of it's very large, a large piece. So here we have Trajan's Forum. We only have little bits left. We don't have as much of it left. It's kind of obviously fell into disrepair. But what we're looking at is the large courtyard here. There is an equestrian statue That means, a guy on a horse, an equestrian statue of Trajan here. And here we have the Basilica Ulpia, which is Ulpia is Trajan's family name. And the Basilica is a big, big, big deal. You see the column right behind. And then, of course, we have two colonnades here, right? Row of columns. So this, again, is obviously not real. It's just a computer animated or computer designed interior of the Basilica Ulpia. What was a Roman basilica? A Roman basilica was a space in which official court and law proceedings, governmental work would take place. It's obviously designed to hold a lot of people. Okay. And I'm going to talk more about the layout of a basilica in just a few moments, but we can see that a lot of light came in. We'll see these coffered ceilings. I'll talk more about coffered ceilings when it gets to the Pantheon, but it does have coffered ceilings as well. We see the Corinthian columns here, right? So, just kind of note these different architectural details. Okay. So what is a basilica? I just kind of gave the basic definition. It's used in ancient Rome as a court of law for public assemblies. So another way to describe it is a large oblong hall with double colonnades and a semicircular apse. What do I mean? Double colonnades. So two rows of columns, and there's one behind here. So double colonnades on all sides, on all four sides. And then also a semicircular apse, and you can't see it in the image that we just looked at, but basically it's a half circle on, there are two half circles both on either side of the long sides of the basilica. I'll show you a layout in just a moment. The thing to note about the basilicas is that basic basilica layout later gets used in the design of churches. And there are some very good reasons for that. And we'll talk about that when we do get to basilicas, which won't be too much longer. So what's an apse? Semicircular ending to a building. So there's a lot of writing there. It's a semicircular ending to a building. So there are two ends to the rectangular basilica. So there are apses on both ends of a Roman basilica. There's only an apse on one end of a church, but again, we'll get to churches later. The nave is the central part of a church building. But in this case, we're not dealing with a church building. We're dealing with a Roman basilica. So I don't know why I have that written there. I'll show you what the nave is in a Roman basilica in just a moment. Don't worry about narthex because that's also a church thing. All right, I'll come back to more of the layout. Actually, let me go ahead and do it right now. So here is the layout of the Forum or the Basilica Ulpia. Okay. So we have the two semicircular apses on either side, right? It says altar here because that's where it's not a religious place for the Romans, but that's of course where the judge would sit, right? So we see the double colonnades. There's one colonnade. There's another colonnade, right? The section here and the section here, right? Under the columns, essentially. Those are called the aisles. And the central section is called the nave, N-A-V-E. So the nave takes up the majority of space. It's open. Okay. So we'll see attached to the Basilica Ulpia, there were two libraries. There was a Roman library for Latin texts, Latin scrolls, and a Greek library. Why Greek library? They're in Rome because they loved the Greeks, right? And in between the two libraries was the column of Trajan. And so that was a really important placement because the library had multiple stories, and you could walk up the stairs of the stories and look more closely at or get a better view of the higher parts of the column with the carvings on there. Okay, so let me go back to the previous slide. So here we are. There's that equestrian statue that I mentioned earlier. Here is the Basilica Ulpia, right? There is the two libraries, the Latin and Greek, and then Trajan's column here. I skipped the triumphal arch, but an arch you should already know because I've gone over the Colosseum already. But a triumphal arch was just one gigantic big arch that they were erected to celebrate usually military victories. And of course, this is going to be a triumphal arch celebrating Hadrian's various victories, probably mostly over the Dacians. Okay, so it's very important that you have this understanding. So we have this large courtyard with colonnades on, looks like 3 sides, right? Colonnade on 3 sides, and then the basilica, right? And then we have the libraries and the column. There's also a temple of Trajan. So, of course, Roman emperors were understood to be gods. So temples were erected in their honor after their deaths. I did that. So, right. Oh, we could just call this, I've been calling it a courtyard, but you could also call it a plaza. There are these semicircles. You could also call them hemicycles that project here as well from the plaza. They kind of mirror what happens in the apses up there. Apses, are distinct to buildings with interiors. This isn't a buildings. This is an outdoor space, right? All right, did that. Again, I'll talk more about Roman basilica, how the basilica is adjusted for Christian use later. I should get rid of this slide. Okay, so just another, this is not an interior. We see the plaza here. And so here we're in the colonnade. You can see that the Corinthian columns again, right? This would have been all, lots of painting, lots of bright painting here. Rich marble, very expensive marble. These structures were extremely expensive to build. We did that already. There's the column, library over here. There would be a library over there. Another shot of an interior image of the basilica. I mentioned coffered ceiling. So a coffered ceiling is a ceiling in which part of it is carved out. So we can see it's kind of like concentric squares. And so it gets a deeper carving of these concentric squares the closer to the tippy top of the ceiling or to the roof it is, right? And these are very useful. I'll talk about these with respect to the Pantheon in lessening the weight of the roof. But you can see also they were decorated, painted, etc. Sometimes they actually had copper placed on them as well for further decoration. I'm not going to show this to you. I'm going to put this in the assignment. But this kid, built Trajan's Forum. It's on Minecraft. It's cuckoo. I'm not a Minecraft person, but I think this is kind of neat. This is also a video that will be on the assignment on Google Classroom, and you'll read more about, or you'll listen to more about the column. Videos, more videos, and then there is also a video about Trajan's Market. Okay, so that's all going to be part of this assignment. So you need to make sure that you watch those videos. They are not optional. Okay, thank you very much.